Hello everyone, I've just finished going through my latest podcast and the guest for this one is once again great. He's a professional sports coach and he has a lot to tell us about communicating and public speaking. There are loads of points that I'm sure you'll find interesting, but as usual I just want to point out a few. First of all, we're going to talk about how being an introvert can actually be positive when it comes to becoming a great public speaker. We're going to talk about how a second language, communicating in a tongue that is not one that we've yet mastered, doesn't have to be a problem. It doesn't have to stop us from achieving great things. And also the importance of personal development. We will of course have our ChatGPT generated question, and I'm sure you will find this episode, or at least I'm hoping that you will find this episode as interesting as I did. Hello everyone, and welcome to yet another episode of Publicly Speaking, the podcast endeavoring to make public speaking easy listening. Today we are very privileged. We have Alberto Mendia with us. Thank you very much for accepting our invitation. We have someone that has had a very unusual professional journey, and he will be able to get into it with us, but you'll see his experience will help us to understand the notion of public speaking within a professional sports setting. So I'm not going to say any more. I'm just going to let Alberto speak. Thank you for accepting this invitation once again. And please tell us a little bit about your professional journey.
So first, thank you for the invitation, Tim. It's a great opportunity to could speak to the people about my experiences and all the things I learned through a very long way in my life in a different settings. So yes, my professional experience. I started to train basketball with 20 years old, in the lowest level, because I gave me one small team in my school with kids of 9 years old, and then from there I was growing constantly. So I created my own club that after I sold to another club, and I keep the journey with mostly the same people, because I bring all of the players with me during 9 years until I handled to be champion of Madrid junior with players. Maybe Real Madrid has 3 million euros of budget with players coming from many places from the different world, and I was playing with my kids they were paying, they were some with me for 7-8 years. So it was kind of a rewarding journey. In the same time, I was doing all this basketball part, it bring me to be a sport director in several clubs. I was studying psychology because I find that it was interesting for me, more for a professional interest, more for only to grow personally. Then when I finished, I did 2 years extra of one master in sports psychology. That obviously helped me in my sport career. And then when the crisis hit Spain in 2009, 2010, the budgets in basketball got lower. So to increase my income, I jumped in talent team in one organization for development of tennis players. And then I was doing there too, mental coaching or sports psychologist and physical training, because I got in the middle a professional degree of 2 years in physical training, specialty basketball. And then at a certain moment, I was I started to work with dancers, ballet dancers, because my wife is one name in the ballet world. So I like it, the challenge to try to improve the ballet world. And then I left the basketball to be together with her in Germany. Then I moved to Alba, Berlin. That was an impact because I came to the highest level, and I started in a very low level in Germany, in a school bilingual, Spanish, German, with kids of 9 years old. But then 4 years later, I was champion of Germany, under 14. So I did my journey there. And then at the same time, I was increasing my clients in the dance world, but especially in the normal world. So I tried to get people from who I could learn. So I have a very big group of different people, everybody with different background, some people very important politically, some people very important in the artistic world, some people very important in the night world. Yeah, very, very special group of individuals. And then slowly the dance world is special, and I like more the impact I have in the normal people. And yeah, slowly I was transition, and right now mostly I work with like special people, but from the art, I will say
Okay.
mostly. Yes, this is
Now,
more or less all what I did.
right. So quite an impressive journey, with a lot of strong characters, I would say, and you must have personally a strong character as well. What sort of jumps at me from the beginning is you seem to be somebody that is able to adapt himself, because to be able to coach not only younger ones, older ones, people, different cultures, different languages, different sports, that must require a high level of adaptability. What would you say as a sports coach? Would you say is the thing that all of these have in common?
The first of all, I think everybody has their own talents, and it's important to understand where are your talents and what is the person like you are. I was a leader from very small. I like to have the capacity to bring the people together and to take and help them to improve the situation through the decision taking. So many of the groups, the leader is maybe is one person who can take and organize the group in the best way possible. He can define the plans, he can define the rules or the relation between the members of the group, and all of this make this person the leader. This is maybe one part. The
So when
second,
it's the team sport, you're looking for a one player with a talent in particular for leading the group. Have I got this right?
no, I prefer to lead myself the group.
Okay.
I'm a
Okay.
natural, I am natural leader. So like I
Okay.
did this from my childhood. I always take all my friends with me, and I am the leader. It's in
Okay.
my, and then I have a lot of, I'm not a jealous person, and I like to develop people. I like to see the people succeeding, and I'm very willing to do effort for them. So for me, to make effort for you is not an effort. It's my way to be. Both things are very important because you need to take care about the group, and you need the first one to give from your heart everything
Yeah.
that you could give to a group. And at the same time, you need to like to be on top of your game and be supporting all of them in the decision taking.
Okay. And you were talking about you were saying that everybody has a talent. What do you do as a sports coach, as a psychologist, to draw out the talent that each individual may have?
I mean, it's like it's depending from the what is your role. It will be in basketball. I
Huh?
construct my own method, and my own method made the players better. I think this is important. You need sometimes to be able to analyze the reality and bring through your capacity of analysis what the reality requires. It's like you spoke about adaptation. You is not you. It's how you will bring the method, the strategy, the tactic adequate to have the impact like you want to have in your environment. And
So
in
you're saying that
yes,
the way you're going to communicate things has to be clear and precise for each individual so that they know what they have to do.
this is super important. It's like you need, for me, in the communication, many times we try to communicate ourselves, but it's not ourselves. It's ourselves with the person in front. So the right
Right.
communication is one communication like can get together with the aim from the other person. So that this could be divided in several layers. Can be, for example, the psychology from the person, could be the motivation in relation with the common ground like you are sharing, could be, have a lot of parts like you need to process, analyze to give the communication like will arrive.
Yeah, yeah.
Because
In
you can
general.
communicate. The other thing is will arrive and will have the impact like you are looking for.
So in general, do you try and have a close relationship with anybody that you might coach?
Yes, I like to take care. So my normal relation with anybody I coach in tennis, basketball, ballet, or physical training is very close.
So
But
in
to like,
general, go on, sorry.
no, yes, it's like I really, if you take care, the people will be listening better.
So when you communicate with your with the people that you coach, you are free to communicate about their personal life, their interests, and not just about what it is you are coaching them about.
Yeah, it's like first of all, it's not only like I'm psychologist. From the very beginning, I was like good understanding the people because I think to put effort to understand the people is a big part to be able to communicate. So then after this, I really like to take care and I like to see the people succeeding. So it's very easy for me to connect the psychology from the people for what they are looking for and then try to be there to make them better. So the people appreciate this. Not always, because sometimes can be a hard talk. It's like, but most of
Mm-hmm.
the time they appreciate.
So could you, I don't want to put you on the spot, of course, I don't want you to name any names, but could you give us a practical example of how having communicated and learned more about someone has helped you to adapt the way that you have coached them and has had positive effects on the person's abilities to play the game?
For example, in basketball, it's like in my time, that I wanted to compete at the highest level. We have a concurrence with the big clubs, and the big clubs like Real Madrid or this, they normally pay the players. So I have my players, and they're coming and they want to pay my players for they go to them. So then you need, first of all, to understand what they want. You cannot compete for money. You cannot compete for facilities or training.
Yeah,
You can compete for care, and you
yeah.
can compete like you will be there behind them all the time, giving their best. And then they want to listen what is your plan for them, not what is the purpose like for everything like they will be doing. And they need to know like how you will compensate the things like the other are offering. And so like
Mm-hmm.
you need to adapt fully the message for what are the worries from the people like they are listening to you. And so it's coming one Real Madrid and tell to my players 200 euros per month. It was like 14. And I'm coming and I saying, Carlos, let's sit and talk. You know how is Real Madrid? They pay you, but after they use you, they don't have a personal compromise with you. That I have a personal compromise with you. So during when you will stay with me, I will take care about everything. I will be there trying to help you in the gym. I will be there trying to help you with your studies. I will be training you. You can train with these three teams for compensate the hours like this, and will work in your weak points and this. So the communication from Real Madrid was not the same. The communication from Real Madrid is like, yes, we want you here. We have this money, we have the best players, the best facilities come to us. But it was a general message. It was
Mm.
not a message for my player. And then my message was more close to his heart. So it was more easy for me, like this, but it's like all the speeches from the before the games, we have to speak to the group before the games. So you need to nail. It's like you arrive there and you are playing with an easy team, and like they will be relaxed. So you need to bring the one message, and then you are playing the finals, and you need to take the pressure out. It's like I remember, for example, the same player like was from Real Madrid, like I was coaching him for 7 seasons in the row. So we were competing too with the high school. And with the high school, he was the one super great player, almost professional, playing with the high school. So we went to play to one bad school. Well, one school like was good, and they have a lot of good players, but our only good player was him. So we start the game and we are already losing for 10 points. So I time out. And I know like my player, he can be a little bit too much confident. So I told him, Carlos, you are ashaming us. What? Yes, you are a joke of player. Everybody here, everybody think, what this guy is doing here? He doesn't know how to play basketball. What? How you talk like this to me? How you do this? And everybody was looking to me. And obviously, nobody wanted to listen that our best player was, you are a joke. I must say, no, Alberto, I don't want that you talk to me like this. This is no respect. I don't respect you anymore. You are shaming your teammates and the school. He went out and he scores 11 3-pointers.
Okay, so I want to know about this because I have a thing about modesty. Okay, I think that modesty is a wonderful quality. I've done a video about it, and I think it's very important to know what you can do, but it's also important to know what you can't do, and you have to find a balance between the two, obviously. So you said at that point that this player's problem was that he was overconfident, right?
Yes.
How do you judge that? How is being sure of your own abilities now becomes overconfidence?
I mean, like, because like this guy was competing at the highest level for 4 years, and this level was not his level. So
Mm-hmm.
you see when the guys are engaged, they move with a little bit more aggressivity. When they go from very relaxed to very intense, as it's not a good symptom. So like they move very fast sometimes, and then they are going super slow. This is not good. They need to be
So
all the
you're
time
saying,
more or less in one kind of like level up and down, not like from this to this, not to one side to the other. I saw it's like I knew the player for very long. It was like
okay,
I could see in everyone, but I knew like the situation himself, and especially the way like he normally act in these kind of games. It was like this, and I knew for very long, like if I put a little bit of spicy, he was like answering much better.
that's interesting. The fact
It was
that
not perfect.
but it's almost his ego that responded, isn't it? His ego
He
responded
was
and
with
said,
responding, of course. Yeah, yeah. It's like if like in sports psychology, we will say like his activation, it was not optimal.
right,
You have like one level of activation, like it defines how much adrenaline you have, and the adrenaline is handle the little bit of your sense, little bit of your coordination, your strength. So he was underactivated, so he was not optimal. So for him, one time like I put him a little bit more aggressive, the activation was optimal.
okay, excellent. Now, okay, so I noticed that you have been coaching various different types of sports and you've adapted yourself, and you said that there's a commonality every time that allows you to move from one sport to the next. As a communicator, what do you think? You talked about the fact that it's important to care. Is that the common denominator? Is that the reason why you are able to move from one sport to the other? The fact that you care, whatever the sports and whatever the person, whoever the person.
I mean, like I guess the most important for being successful in several different fields is your analysis capacity. So like, for example, I analyze my communication. We are speaking especially about communication, but could be other things. I'm always trying to analyze the things and find a method to make it better. So in the end, I can be successful in physical training, psychology, or basketball coaching because I'm analyzing everything like it's going on and trying to make it better. I think many times like we are too proud and we want to convince us about if we do the things good or we do the things like how it should be for the situation. And no, there's always a way to make it better. There's never a ending way. Maybe now I'm good making physical training, but every training I'm learning. Every training I'm adapting one small thing. Every training I'm taking data, analyzing data, and come back with a new strategy. And then in my journey like this, and especially in my communication, it's like you need to go thinking like, yes, sometimes it's every moment can be a good moment to communicate better. It's like sometimes I do when I book the clients, I could do mistakes because I'm lazy, and instead to send a message confirming perfectly with the date and the hour the meeting, I may like, yes, this is good for you. Yes, this, yes, no, no, yes, no. Until it's not written Monday 7th at this is not the best communication. Like it has
I
not
think,
so many mistakes, but
yeah,
it has some possibility of mistake.
I think maybe this is a masculine trait of character, perhaps. Have we sometimes think we've communicated something and it's in our head, but then we haven't done it properly.
Yes.
Can I ask, just to come back on the subject of care,
Yes.
it's high stakes. Okay, so you got this player that you don't want to lose to another team. This is high stakes. This guy could be earning a lot more money, perhaps, and you want to keep him in your team. And so you talk to him, you think about what it is that he cares about, and you try to provide that for him, if I've understood just
Yeah,
correctly.
you need to
Correct me.
provide, but this is very important for your communication, the
Yeah.
trust. So if I communicate
So
something, yeah,
if I may, that's what I want to get onto, because the player knows that you want to keep him. And the player knows that you don't want to pay him Real Madrid money, or you can't pay him Real Madrid money. So how do you build that trust? How does he know that you're not saying these things to keep him and he believes your sincerity? How do you do that?
I mean, like this, for it depends how long time you are with the person, but definitely it's like whatever you need to be consequence with your words and what you said. I mean, like if like I tell you like tomorrow I'm in your birthday, if they cut me one leg, I'm in your birthday, and if they cut me the two legs, I will be in your birthday too. If it's coming your birthday and I tell you, oh, I feel sick in the stomach and I'm not appearing, pues you will trust me less. So the first thing is like whatever you say, you need to live with your words, and like this. After is the commitment to the things. It's like to be on time. It helps you in this regard. It's like if you say one time and you are always on time and the other people is late, the people trust you more. If like they see like you do effort for the others, you have the tendency to organize things in your apartment, you try to invite to organize, you buy the things for generosity, you bring the dinner when nobody thought about, uh, like you invite the people to train with you like this, they train and they don't need to train for themselves, you do effort like to organize work for them, training work or psychology work or nutrition work or whatever. You are there caring, you win the trust. But the trust is from the generosity. It's like the time that you think you prioritize yourself to the others, you start to lose trust of the others because you are making mistakes.
Yeah. So okay, I get what you said, just totally makes sense. But that's in the circumstances where you have time with that player.
Okay, perfect.
Let's yeah. So you've established a relationship. let's say you're trying to attract a player into your team and you're trying to express to him that he may not be getting the big bucks at your team, but he will get care and he'll get cared for, and what he values will matter. When you're trying to express that to him, I'm saying you're sincere. You're obviously sincere, but how do you project that sincerity to the player?
I mean,
In
I was
one
the
go.
best recruiter. I was the best recruiter in Madrid for a certain time. So this what you
You were the
said,
what? Sorry.
the best recruiter. Recruiter
Ah, the
is one
recruiter.
person
Okay, yeah,
who,
yeah. Okay.
yeah, sorry, my English is Spanish. So I
No,
was
no, it's good,
like
it's good, it's good.
able to catch, I was able to take players from Real Madrid to my club.
Okay.
But the it's like the most important in these situations is like the message is adapt exactly for what the other person want to listen. That's the most important. So, like everybody has their own ego and everybody need to feel important and everybody need to find that he's the center of the plan.
Yeah.
So when you call one player, you need to make him the center of the plan and tell him that how all the things work exactly for his motivation. For example, in Real Madrid, to take one player from Real Madrid is like, that you are not important, and I always consider you one player like because this characteristics. So you need to know good the person. So you need to speak
Uh-huh.
about exactly how he understands himself.
Yeah.
In my team, you will be like this, and true. Together, we'll win Real Madrid.
Yeah.
So I will get what I want. I will be important, and at the same time, this person know me. You have a good way to arrive in the brain from this other person. Then obviously, if this happens, the next time like you go to speak to people, it's already moving from. But hey, I have many people who didn't believe me. So like it's not like always work and I was like telling this and I handle always. But
Yeah.
I handle many with not so many possibilities many times. But the message was needing to be this and the strategy, for example, for these players sometimes or for these clients is important the other. So this player is coming or this other thing will this or will do all this thing and the structure. Oh, this. So you need to know the information that they have in the brain and adapt the information like you are sending for bring them where they want to go.
Okay, that's really interesting. So I want to move over. So now you're moving your career over to Germany. Can
Mm.
you can you let us know, like, in terms of communication, what was the hardest thing to adapt to when it came to both language and culture?
I mean, this is what we speak about the talents.
Yeah.
I had dyslexia when I was small that was never treated. And my parents they didn't like the music. So I have my musicality is
Eh,
really low.
okay.
So both things together make when I change to other languages, I look much less smart like I'm in real. If
Yeah,
we pass,
I know what you mean. It's really annoying. Sometimes you want people to know what you'll sound like in your real language, don't you?
yeah, so it's sad because like I know like my capacities sound like this, but because like I'm speaking funny and my English is bad, they think like
Yeah.
I'm more stupid. And because I
Yeah.
have zero capacities in German, they think like I'm retarded. So
Yeah, yeah.
when I, yeah, when I arrived here in Germany, I arrived with the top license in the world,
Yeah.
for training MBA. Because like the national team from Spain, for my qualities in Spain, they gave me the special license. Then
Okay.
I have like sports psychology, 5 years, sports psychology, two more, one professional degree in training. And the people listened to me and they were like, he cannot be as good. Thomas, one shitty team in Germany.
Uh,
So there I have been many times in like not in I don't know how to say it now infravalorated or like not really valued,
undervalued.
not undervalue only because my communication skills in other languages like are not the Spanish are bad.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. It's funny because it's even when you speak another language, the tonality of voice is different, and you know you can sound a lot less serious in a language. You can sound a lot less, as you said, intelligent, and of course that's going to have an impact on how you come across and the kinds of responsibility that people would be prepared to give you. So,
Yeah.
big question: how did you overcome that?
I mean, like, I have to say, like, unfortunately, because my limits, my talents are not going in this area at all. I I adapt myself in basketball. I did only winning. So like because I always win in basketball, any
Right.
team that you will give to me, I will win
Okay.
because I'm
So
so good coach.
why is it? So you think your tactical skills were good enough to speak for themselves? Is that what you're saying?
It's a full combi. It's like the first of all, my level of professionality is top. I never get sick. I never miss one training, whatever
Right.
is going on. If I
Right. That's
vomit,
really good.
I vomit in one side from the court and I come back to the court.
Right.
Then
I get
my
that.
level of
Right.
level of energy is out of charts. So like my trainings 2 hours are like 5 hours from the others. I never stop to
Okay.
correct. I never stop the ball. So I make my players be all the time thinking I'm moving, thinking I'm moving, thinking I'm moving. So when it's game the game, the others do like this and my players are too fast.
Uh,
Then I have my method to make them better technically. Pass without dribbling, pass without dribbling. So I have my own method. Then I take care about the kids. So the kids love me. They always have the coach. The coach is always there. The coach is always giving the 100%. So I'm super hard, but I'm super fair. I try that everybody play. I try to give opportunities to everyone. I'm speaking individually with each one. I'm giving them emotionally support, and I'm highly demanding, top demanding. So
so
when is it?
I I get that
Yeah,
professionalism. I think that cannot be stressed enough. I think it's a super important point that you're making. It's determination. It's got to. I'm sure your determination is coming through, and people can see that. But you still have to communicate. And I'm guessing the players that you coached, some of them were German. So tell us, what language were you speaking? How were you trying to communicate? And what was
like
your
mostly.
non-verbal communication like?
I mean, like it was tough because
Okay.
in one of the teams they were bilingual Spanish German. So
Yeah.
let's say like mostly of the players were speaking Spanish. That was already
Okay.
good. When I moved to other levels, they were mostly Germans, but I have always one guy like speak Spanish, and if not, I was trying English. I have to say, like obviously, I felt the impact in the coaching, so I could have done maybe 20-25% better job in Spanish. But let's say like my level was so good, like still I was better than the
Yeah.
others.
Now, I imagine you. I've never seen you coach. I'd love to, but I've not had that privilege. But I imagine you being somebody that is quite alive on the sideline, quite animated. Am I right?
Yeah, I'm
Have you?
like brutal.
Okay.
But for example, this is important in the communication. Independent from the games, your communication in the side is super important how you play. When you are playing against easy players, low level, when you are going to win, for sure, you need to be super hard. You need to go under all the mistakes. You need to shout super a lot. You need to be super noisy. And when you are playing against in the games, like they are very difficult, you need to be super supportive. You need to shout only to support. You need to be super positive. It changes
Okay.
completely. In the easy games, you train the players to stand the mistakes
Yeah.
and the negativity, and in the other, they get the learning like they did in the other games plus your support. And this, when you play finals and this, it makes the difference.
Okay. Do you find yourself compensating perhaps for your lack of skills in one language by being more vocal and lively gesture-wise on the sideline?
I have to say, like, we can go even to all my life, and because I'm highly intro,
Okay.
I don't like now, but I was highly
Okay.
intro when I was small, so I was super shy. So because like I remember to go to the school, and even with 14 years old, they asked me to read my answers for some exercises, and I was like almost in tears because I
Okay.
got highly with this. So I really think when I started to get my full level of skills,
Yeah.
when you have been unable to communicate yourself in group and in a big public for very long because you were so shy, and you start to see like you have the skills that the people listen to you, and you start to improve your method to speak, to improve the way like you communicate, and you can touch more people, you start to like it. And
So
it's a
you're
little bit,
saying,
yes.
sorry, to summarize, you're saying that you being an introvert actually helped you to communicate better later on in life.
I don't know if, a ver, one intro, it means like you have a lot of analysis. You have a lot of
Yeah.
lines of thought. Shy
Okay.
is because you get stressed because you overthink. This is
Yeah.
shy.
Okay.
The overthinking of to be in the things. But to be intro, obviously, help you to have a more deep analysis in the things like motivate you. And
Okay.
if you get motivated to communicate good to your group of players, for example, you go analyzing everything and improving the skills. Then you can say too, like when you didn't feel secure in one area and you feel little bit limited when you were small, it create a small trauma. Like when you get the skills and you are older, you like to expand and express more because was not able to do for 20 years.
But what motivated you to come out of your shell, therefore? What motivated you to stop overthinking? Well, not to stop overthinking, but at least to not let the overthinking stop you from communicating what you thought needed to be communicated.
I mean, like I'm highly introvert, I'm very social.
Okay.
So I really like to be with people, and I was always a leader, but I was a leader in a small group. So at certain moment, I when I was growing, I got not the motivation maybe to speak in public. I got the motivation to do my players better and to be good basketball coach. And the skill is important. So then I was feeling like I'm I have something to say to a basketball club. So that's another 100 people. So then you continue growing with your motivation to improve the players or to be good at your profession or whatever. But the inner motivation to be listened, to be having a lot, able to communicate, maybe you build in the first phase from your life when you are not able, when you feel like you want to express yourself, but it's because your introversion and your extremely activation when you start to analyze the thing you didn't. So one is like why you build the skills, like maybe is the word motivation. Another is this need to express yourself, like maybe it's coming more from the childhood. Yes.
Okay. So you seem to have a deep desire to better yourself,
To analyze myself, sorry, the last part,
to just to better yourself, to become better and better.
I'm constantly improving. Yes.
What's why?
Yes.
Because if I may, the current sort of thoughts that I pick up from the vibe that I pick up mostly from the world we live in and the youth that's coming through, it's more about be who you are. You know, there's things you can't change, personality traits can't change, just take me as I am. That's just the type of linguistics that we're hearing. You seem to be thinking, no, there's always going to be something I need to improve. And I think that's what I would hear mostly from sports people who are extremely successful. They want to continue improving. Why do you think that's important to you? Why do you
I,
think you have
I,
that
I,
mentality?
I think like in the end, the life is like to be happy. So maybe the other people understand the happiness in a different way, like me. I like the video games, like you play with your heroes that are going very slow, and you have only to improve the method to be better than your heroes go further. Maybe.
Yeah.
So like these video games, these kind of like to like manager from football, manager from basketball, you can always do a small detail better, and this will make your team more successful. So you are better. So maybe these games shape a little bit my mind. And then for me, it's like everything can be trained. So I train myself to be objective. The people is subjective. So they organize the reality in relation with themselves. And I analyze the reality how it is. And they and then I can see the things more clear. Emotionality. If you train yourself to give and to understand the giving and you enjoy the giving, you will be much more happy because you can enjoy. Because if you are taking, to take is more difficult like to give.
Uh-huh.
So I try to give my best. Then physically I'm 47 and I have full six pack. I'm ripped because like I understand that yes, the nutrition the can be improved, the training can be improved. So I trying to challenge myself and having fun with the video game of improve my body to be to have level of the energy, my immune system. I never get sick in 20 years.
So you seem to
I
find your
challenge
happiness,
myself.
you seem to find your happiness in improving and happiness in giving.
I think about giving is part from the improvement. The understanding of giving is part from the be happy improving because this improves you. Like to be generous. It's like, or don't be. Most of the people compete. So if something happened good to the other, or the other is very good, sometimes they get jealous. I don't get jealous. I get super happy. I prefer
Uh-huh.
like everybody, and this already is a mental training. All at certain moment we compete. Yeah, I will compete to have fun, but not compete for being happy. It's a different competition.
So you said it's a mental training. Did you always
Hmm.
think like that, or did you used to be jealous of other people's success?
Of course, I
Did
was
you used
exactly with 20 years, I was less more jealous. I was more judgmental. I thought that I understand better the things. Like I was much less generous. I had less energy, so I could not do the level of efforts like I was doing now. My understanding from the money was more personal, so I was more greedy. But
so now you're generous, now you have a six pack.
yeah, I'm super generous.
I need to be more
So
generous. I need to be a lot more generous.
I think the understanding from the money when it's like it's coming too little bit from the parents and this, it's like we are all living the big life. It's the best life from the history of the humanity. We are 99%. The guy who lived the worst in our society lived much better like
Mm.
3,000 years ago.
Yeah.
It's like I think our to be very dependent from the money is limiting. I think obviously I would prefer to go holidays to Bahamas and do a tour from United States for 1 month. But I can be happy to in Fuerteventura 7 days. It's like it's more,
Not too shabby.
it's more,
Not too shabby.
and then all this other money I share with the others. So instead to be happy on the holidays, a little bit more, I'm happy all the year.
Yeah. That's a really interesting and a beautiful message to pass on. Thank you very much, Alberto. I want to move on because I don't want to take the whole time, and I do want to ask two more. I've got four more questions, if you don't mind. One, the first one is about COVID. Briefly, you obviously have had professions that require you to do a lot of communication, one-on-one, one with a group. How did
I
you
was no coach.
adapt? You were not a coach.
Like
What
I
did you
will
do during
spread
that
fun.
time?
I already have no, I was not basketball coach, and I handled to work all the COVID one-on-one with my clients,
Okay.
normally in the park. But sometimes was people like was in
Okay.
isolation, and I only visit them or something like that.
Okay. Okay. Right. So most of the time you managed to overcome the whole, you didn't have to do the video conference thing most of the time.
I did. I do. The true thing is like I hate to train online
Yeah.
because like it's a downgrade of quality, and I'm not. I don't like my clients are carrying the weights. I not don't like they need to put the weight for do the exercise. And this
Right.
with many of my clients, they are old. So it's little bit like bad for my feeling to see the client moving the equipment. Then sometimes the angles, then the connection is going. And I'm super intense in the trainings,
Okay.
not in the exercises, but in the corrections, in the technique, in the
Okay.
conversation. So it's like it's a good 1 hour, and I was losing so much quality online for
Yeah.
my job. Like
Yes.
I did it, but the minimum possible.
Okay, understood. Okay, I have one question. I don't know if you noticed, but every time on this podcast, I try and be relevant. So I try and make sure that we have a question. So I have a little discussion with ChatGPT. I
Okay.
ask it a few questions, and it's supposed to come out with a decent question for you. Okay, so
Okay.
the question it came out with was, how do the principles of physical fitness and mental conditioning intersect to enhance performance in high-stake public speaking engagements?
I mean, I have to say, like the physical condition, it affects everything. Only like to think like how you breathe and how is your maximal oxygen capacity will have
Yeah,
effect on your activation. So if you are in a very low maximal oxygen capacity, you will not receive enough air when you are speaking to a big public, and this will
yeah,
stress you out, and this stress out, it will have already a bad impact. So I really think like to be in shape is already positive when you have to confront high stress situations.
yeah,
So this is for public speaking, it will affect for sure. And obviously for sports, it's obvious like normally your tool is your body. So in both things. Then even like I find that the nutrition can be important too, because the nutrition have really effect too in the sleeping. The sleeping has effect in the too in like the stress, has
yeah,
effect in the capacity to think fast. So
yeah,
I thinking like there is a lot of part from the nutrition that we don't take care and then can go in the wrong way. Sometimes
yeah.
a little bit of caffeine can help you if you are not activated enough, but a little bit of caffeine can be wrong if you are too activated.
Yeah. I mean, I have to say, when I have an engagement of like sometimes in front of hundreds of people and I have to speak, like the thing that haunts me the most is not forgetting my words, it's not forgetting what I'm going to say. The thing that haunts me the most is to have some sort of physical shutdown. It's perhaps it's something silly, but needing to go to the toilet, or it's not losing my breath, things like that sort of haunt me. So I tend to, when I do have an engagement like this, I tend to, one, only eat like 3 or 4 hours before, and then if I have to eat, as you said, I won't have any coffee, but I'll have like Haribos. Like I don't want to advertise Haribos, but I'll have something sugary, like really like footballers before they go on the pitch. I just ram onto
That's not
Haribos.
working. I
Okay,
will
go
help
on,
you.
tell me. Go on.
The sugar produce one thing called sugar rush. So it will
Yes.
have it depends how long is the talk.
Well, usually it's
If
good enough for like half an hour, an hour.
exactly.
Okay.
Exactly, it's hyperactivating. It's like
Yeah,
kind
and
of
then I
like
and then I crash. I mean, then afterwards I go home and I just want to sleep.
exactly. Really good. So strategy is
but
perfect
but but
for
I'm
half an hour.
That's right, yeah. But I only want it for half an hour to do my job, and then I just want to go home and crash. But
Exactly. It's exactly like this. It's 40 minutes.
yeah, okay, all
So
right,
after the 40
okay,
minutes, you will crash.
understood. Okay, so what would you say for somebody that has to hold a full day?
All them? Sorry?
What would you say? What regime? What diet? would you say to someone that has to hold a whole day conference, for example, and has to be
Okay, like
present?
technically, it's like
Yeah,
proof, like the insulin reduce the
yeah,
concentration.
yeah,
So like anything like is going rich in fast carbs,
yeah.
in sugar, in jaribos, it will reduce the concentration. So it will make you less steady in the thinking. So like it will make you maybe be good 10 minutes, but after you will have 1 hour bad.
Yeah.
So it's much better to try to keep the carbs for the end of the day, keep there
Okay.
in the end of the day, not like to eat much before, and then to keep in fat and proteins during the mental work.
Okay. Fat and proteins, beginning of the
Proteins
day.
and fat. You need, for me, there is a very bad uh, manipulation in the market about the nutrition,
Yeah.
and it's like in all the nature, all the animals, they go to hunt or recollect, they get the energy and they restore the energy. There's not any animal who eat to have energy to do things. The animals,
Ah, I get it.
the nature is not designed to eat to have energy. The nature is designed that you use the energy to get the energy and then you restore the energy. This
Okay.
is not very natural system.
What you're saying is you shouldn't be eating for one particular event in your life. You should just
You
be
should eat
eating
after.
to build, to just continue, to sustain your
No,
life
like
in general.
I think like what I'm trying to say is like when you have like one event, it's
Yes.
better like you don't need any kind of energy before,
Right.
because like you will be more aware and you will be more clean. You will be more focused and more concentrated. All of this is
Okay.
proof. The proteins will not affect so much
Okay.
because the proteins will reduce a little bit the stress hormone and the fats will have not so much
Theory.
effect neither. But
Okay.
the sugar, the carbs, the fruits, all these kind of things, it will create an energetic roller coaster,
Yeah.
like will impact your brain.
Yeah. Okay.
This
I
is
get
so
it.
the animals don't eat before. They eat only
Yeah.
after.
Yeah. Okay. Really good point. Thank you for that. Thank you for that, Alberto.
Well,
So I have two more questions. I like to finish the podcast with these two questions.
true.
The first one is, well, they're both reflective. The first one is, if somebody, well, what do you said already that you were somebody that was always trying to improve themselves. At the moment, in terms of communication skills, what is the one thing you're working on and why?
I I really think so much about this, but I try. Well, it could be like a good point. Like for me, like I can get emotional at certain point and be, I will not say aggressive, but pretty hard because like for one side, my sport education is like you face the problems. So like when somebody tells you something and you are sure, you don't retreat, you come harder.
Yeah.
And then and then at the same time, I can get still emotional and bring some kind of like conflict, like after will be negative. So I'm not smart enough to control my emotionality in the communication and not bring it in the moment like I feel like the other person is wrong. That for sure, I'm sure like my analysis is right. So like I'm sure like when I think that this person is doing something wrong and need a bad answer or one answer like is more conflictive, I'm sure like I'm right. But maybe I should stop the answer and be more quiet and definitely not bring emotionality.
Yeah. I think we have a few things in common, Alberto.
Maybe.
The second one is, if someone like me were to come and see you either coach or give a presentation to a crowd, what is it that you would tell me to look out for to imitate?
For to limitate about
To
me.
imitate, for me to imitate, for
To
me to
imitate.
imitate you.
In a to speaking, I really think like when I construct my knowledge, I do the biggest effort to be 100% about what I'm talking about. I'm not,
To know what you're
I
talking
try,
about.
yeah, I really think like it's very important. Like when you have the knowledge and you try to express the knowledge,
Yeah,
like your approach is something that have something to say. So it's one information that is not new, or is a good selection in between the information that there is, and you express something like could impact and have importance in the life from the others, and that you are very sure. It's like
right.
it's like, for example, nutrition, physical training, and this. mm, I'm very disappointed. Even psychology, I'm very disappointed how the people speaks a lot, but they don't
Right.
know. So
Yeah.
like, or they know, but they are trying to sell. They are trying to sell themselves. They are trying to produce a product. So they are like, they are, there's, I really, when I speak, I don't speak to make money. I don't speak to try to make myself important. I
Yeah.
speak to have a positive impact in the person.
Yeah.
So I think that's important. This is what I will take from me.
Yeah. Okay. So know what you're talking about, select the information carefully, and make sure that what you're talking about, you've proved it to yourself and you know it to be true.
You are very sure. You are, and you don't have
Excellent.
like second intentions, like are going only
Aha.
for yourself.
Okay. Thank you very much, Alberto. I said I
Welcome.
would take an hour, so I'm going to take an hour, and but I could go on talking with you for much longer than this.
We have good
Um,
connection. I meet with you too.
Yeah, it's super interesting. Everything you had to say is very useful, and I'm sure that the people that will get to view this podcast will draw a lot out of it. So thank you
Thank you
very
so
much
much.
for accepting to do this. Thank you.
Yes, I wish that they understand me okay, because my English Spanish.
I'm sure if they miss some of the words, they will get all the emotions. Thank you very much,
Okay.
Alberto.